Men, most women don't leave suddenly. They prepare their exit quietly. By the time she actually walks away, she's already lined up her next option. I've watched this pattern play out hundreds of times, and the psychology behind it is calculated and methodical. Today, I'll show you 7 red flags, backed by female psychology, that prove she's preparing to replace you. What I'm about to share comes from years of observing how women really operate when they've mentally checked out. These aren't random behaviors, they're systematic preparation steps that happen in almost the exact same order every single time. Before we start, hit subscribe and comment if you've ever seen these signs. It could save another man from being blindsided. And guys, watch this entire video because red flag number 5 is happening in 85% of relationships right before women leave, and most men completely miss it. Now, let's dive into what's really happening when she starts preparing her exit strategy. The first red flag is emotional withdrawal, and this is where it all begins. She stops sharing her feelings, thoughts, or future dreams with you. The woman who used to tell you about her day, her worries, her excitement about weekend plans. She suddenly becomes emotionally unavailable. Here's the female psychology behind this. Women detach emotionally first, before they leave physically. This isn't accidental, it's protective. When a woman decides you're not her long-term option, she starts building emotional walls to make the eventual separation easier on herself. You'll notice she stops asking for your advice on decisions. Problems that she used to bring to you first, she's now handling them alone or discussing them with someone else. When you ask about her day, you get surface-level responses. Fine, good, nothing special. The most telling sign is when she stops sharing her dreams and future plans. A woman who sees you in her future will naturally include you in her vision. When that stops, it's because her vision no longer includes you. I remember analyzing a case where a woman went from sharing everything with her boyfriend to giving him one-word answers within a 3-week period. She was already talking to someone new and had emotionally transferred her investment. By the time her boyfriend noticed the change, she was already halfway out the door. Pay attention to this shift. When a woman stops being emotionally available to you, she's being emotionally available to someone else. But this next red flag is even more obvious once you know what to look for. Red flag number 2 is sudden changes in her appearance, new style, makeup routines, or fitness obsession. Here's what most men get wrong. They think she's doing it for them or for herself. She's not. She's preparing for someone new. When a woman starts investing heavily in her appearance after months or years of routine, it's because she's marketing herself again. The comfortable sweatpants and messy bun routine gets replaced with carefully planned outfits and full makeup for trips to the grocery store. The psychology is simple. Women understand that physical attraction opens doors to new opportunities. When she's decided you're temporary, she starts positioning herself as available and attractive to other options. Watch for these specific changes. New workout routines that suddenly become non-negotiable, experimenting with makeup looks she's never tried before, buying clothes and styles she's never worn, or suddenly caring about her appearance for activities that never required effort before. The most revealing sign is when she starts taking selfies again. A woman in a committed, secure relationship rarely feels the need to constantly photograph herself, but a woman preparing to be back on the market, she's building her visual portfolio. I witnessed one situation where a woman went from wearing basic jeans and t-shirts to full makeup and dresses for her daily coffee runs. She claimed it was about feeling better about herself, but within 2 months, she had left her boyfriend for a guy she met at that same coffee shop. The timing isn't coincidental. When she suddenly cares about looking perfect for everyone except you, she's already shopping for your replacement. The third red flag is when she starts guarding her privacy like a state secret. New phone habits, secretive social media behavior, closing screens quickly when you walk by, and creating digital boundaries that never existed before. The psychology behind this is straightforward. Secrecy builds when she starts investing in someone else. A woman with nothing to hide doesn't need to hide anything. But a woman building connections outside your relationship needs to protect those developing relationships from your discovery. You'll notice her phone becomes an extension of her body, never left unattended, always face down, constant notifications that she quickly dismisses. She might change her passwords, start using apps you've never seen before, or suddenly become very protective of her social media activity. The most telling behavior is the screen closing reaction. When you walk into a room and she quickly closes her laptop, minimizes her phone screen, or suddenly stops typing, she's protecting information that would upset you. Here's what makes this particularly calculated. She's not just hiding current conversations, she's hiding the evidence of her preparation to leave. Those dating apps she's browsing, those conversations with old flames she's rekindling, those new social connections she's cultivating, all of it requires privacy from you. I analyzed a pattern where women consistently start password-protecting devices they previously shared openly. One woman went from leaving her phone casually around the house to taking it with her to the bathroom. Within 6 weeks, she had moved out. When privacy suddenly becomes her priority, it's because she's prioritizing someone else's access to her life over your transparency. This next red flag is psychological manipulation at its finest. Red flag number 4 is when she starts picking constant fights over increasingly small things. Arguments about how you load the dishwasher, criticism about habits she previously tolerated, and finding fault with things that never bothered her before. This isn't random irritability, it's a subconscious strategy for creating distance to justify her exit. The female psychology here is about moral permission. When a woman wants to leave but feels guilty about it, she needs to build a case against you that justifies her departure. Every small fight serves a purpose. It creates emotional distance, it positions you as the problem in the relationship, and it gives her talking points when she explains to others why she had to leave. She's not trying to resolve these issues, she's using them as ammunition. The pattern typically escalates from criticism to contempt. First, she criticizes your actions. Then she criticizes your character. Finally, she shows contempt for who you are as a person. This progression makes leaving feel like the logical solution rather than an abandonment. What makes this particularly insidious is that she often picks fights about things you can't easily fix or change. Your personality traits, your family relationships, your long-term goals, things that attack your core identity rather than specific behaviors. I remember one case where a woman spent 3 weeks arguing with her boyfriend about everything from his driving style to his choice of breakfast cereal. She wasn't trying to improve these things. She was building her justification narrative. 2 weeks later, she announced she couldn't deal with his constant problems anymore. When the woman who used to find your quirks endearing suddenly finds them unbearable, she's not trying to fix your relationship. She's trying to end it with her conscience clear. Here's red flag number 5, and this one is happening in 85% of relationships right before women leave. She starts spending significantly more time being busy elsewhere. More nights out, late work hours that never existed before, unexplained absences, and a social calendar that suddenly doesn't include you. The female psychology behind this is about shifting time investment. When a woman decides you're not her future, she stops investing her most valuable resource, her time, into your relationship and starts investing it toward finding your replacement. These aren't innocent social activities. This is strategic positioning. She's creating opportunities to meet new people, reconnect with old options, and explore what else is available. Every girls' night out becomes a scouting mission. Every work event becomes a networking opportunity. Watch for these specific patterns: social events that you're explicitly not invited to, work obligations that require her to dress up and stay out late, new friendships that seem to consume a disproportionate amount of her time and weekend, activities that she needs to do alone or with people you've never met. The most revealing sign is when her availability to you decreases while her energy for outside activities increases. She's too tired for date nights with you, but has plenty of energy for mysterious social commitments. I tracked one situation where a woman went from spending 4 to 5 evenings per week at home to being out 5 to 6 nights per week within a month. She claimed it was about personal growth and maintaining friendships, but she was actually positioning herself back into the dating market while still having you as backup security. When her time becomes unavailable to you, but readily available to everyone else, she's already reallocating her investment away from your relationship. Red flag number 6 is when she starts talking about trips, projects, or goals without your name in them. This is one of the clearest indicators that she's visualizing a life beyond you. A woman who sees you in her future naturally includes you in her planning. When she starts making long-term commitments that don't involve you, or when she talks about experiences she wants to have, but doesn't invite your participation, she's already mentally moved on. Listen for these specific language changes. I'm thinking about taking a trip, instead of, we should plan a vacation. I want to learn something new, instead of, let's try this together. Or, I'm considering making some changes, without discussing what those changes might mean for your relationship. The psychology here is about mental preparation. She's rehearsing her independence and getting comfortable with making decisions without considering your input or presence. This mental practice makes the actual transition easier when she decides to leave. What makes this particularly telling is that she often gets excited about these solo plans in ways she hasn't gotten excited about your shared activities in months. Her energy and enthusiasm are being directed toward a future that doesn't include you. I observed a pattern where a woman spent 6 weeks planning a solo vacation while showing zero interest in the anniversary trip her boyfriend was planning for them. She wasn't just planning a vacation, she was planning her new single life. When her dreams stop including you, it's because she's already dreaming of someone else. This final red flag is the most psychologically complex. The 7th and final red flag is sudden hot and cold behavior. Distant and cold one day, overly sweet and affectionate the next. This isn't mood swings, it's the psychological battle between her exit strategy and her guilt about implementing it. The psychology behind this is guilt-driven temporary kindness before the final exit. When a woman is preparing to leave, part of her feels guilty about the deception and planning happening behind your back. To manage this guilt, she periodically overcompensates with sudden bursts of affection or kindness. You'll experience days where she seems completely disconnected and uninterested, followed by days where she's surprisingly attentive, sexual, or emotionally available. This creates confusion and false hope, which actually serves her purpose. It keeps you stable while she finalizes her exit plan. The cold days represent her true emotional state. She's already detached. The warm days represent her guilt management. She's trying to balance the scales before she leaves. Neither represents her actual feelings about the relationship's future. What makes this particularly manipulative is that the kind days often come right after you start questioning the relationship or expressing concerns about her behavior. She's managing your suspicions while protecting her timeline. I analyzed multiple cases where this hot and cold pattern intensified in the final month before women left their relationships. The frequency of sweet days actually increased as the departure date approached, not because their feelings returned, but because their guilt intensified. When her affection becomes unpredictable and seems disconnected from anything you're actually doing in the relationship, she's managing her guilt, not expressing her love. By the time you're witnessing all 7 of these red flags, you're not dealing with a woman who's going through a rough patch or needs more attention from you. You're dealing with a woman who has already decided you're temporary and is systematically preparing for her exit. Each of these behaviors represents a conscious choice to prioritize her transition away from you over the health of your current relationship. The emotional withdrawal protects her heart. The appearance changes market her availability. The privacy guards her developing options. The constant fighting builds her justification. The busy schedule creates opportunities. The solo future planning rehearses her independence. And the hot and cold behavior manages her guilt while keeping you stable. Your peace of mind and emotional security are worth more than trying to win back someone who's already emotionally invested elsewhere. When someone is working this systematically to prepare their exit from your life, they've already shown you exactly how much your relationship means to them. The question isn't whether you can fix these red flags. It's whether you're ready to stop ignoring what they really mean about where you stand in her priorities. If these red flags opened your eyes to what might be happening in your relationship, make sure to subscribe to this channel for daily content that could save you from months of wasted energy on someone who's already planning their exit. Hit that like button if you've recognized any of these patterns in your own experience. And most importantly, drop a comment below sharing your story. Have you seen these red flags in your relationships? Your experience could help other men recognize these patterns before it's too late.